Alan Ross, and I'm the managing editor of APC Technologies. We're here at the IRIS ODSR, which is Operator Driven Safety and Reliability Conference in Sarasota, Florida. We're sponsored by IRIS and SDT, and of course APC Technologies. We've done interviews with thought leaders and with practitioners of the operator-driven safety and reliability programs, and just the idea of changing the way we do what we do in maintenance and reliability in the marketplace. There's some fascinating interviews here. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you learn. We're here in Sarasota. We're at the IRIS Global Partner Meeting. Eric Fritz is my guest. Hey,
pleasure.
Eric, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Alan.
So tell me a little bit about how you got into this industry, why you got into the industry, and when and where you are right now, because you are the president of the company, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a unique backstory. I was fortunate enough to work with my father for a number of years doing something very different. He's actually the one that started I&E Technology, but we got into doing things from flow meters, instrumentation, calibration equipment, and when things started to get leaner around that 2010 time frame, things just moved more into the reliability side of things. A lot leaner requirements, labor shortages, money was tight, people wanted more automation, more sensors, more condition monitoring, and that got us into our first thermal camera line, and everything kind of took off from there, became everything from laser alignment, ultrasound, infrared, those kinds of things that we do. And our company's an industrial reliability solutions provider.
You're in Wisconsin, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
So we cover a good part of the Midwest. A number of individuals that work for us now that cover out to the Dakotas, the UP of Michigan. You know, a beautiful country this time of year, but not so much in January. But we do training and support for the implementation of every solution that we have. To not only ensure that we're supplying the right solution, but that it ends up getting used in the manner that it's designed for.
Is your dad still involved with the company?
He hasn't been involved in about 10 years.
Oh, that's good and bad, right?
It is. We did have our share of disagreements early on as a family business, but I have the utmost respect for him, and it was just it was a great opportunity to have. So he was able to walk away from the business, retire when he wanted to, and still have somebody to carry on that business. And it's grown substantially since then. We've changed a ton, but it's focused more around industrial reliability, mechanical, electrical reliability, safety being one of those key portions of our business. And again, we supply those solutions. We're geared towards making sure that we partner with the most innovative manufacturers and partners in the industry that we.
That's why you're giving a plug to IRIS right now. Great. No, that's great.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's why you're here. So we're going to get to the operator-driven safety and reliability, because ODR has been around a long time, operator-driven reliability. We're going to get at that moment. But you just brought something up. We provide solutions. Everything's changing out in industry. I mean, we're going from 3 to 3.5 to 4. We'll never get there in my lifetime, right? But what do you think your customers are dealing with every day? What's happening now, even pre-pandemic, pandemic to post-pandemic? What's happening?
Yeah, I think there's a huge concern for cost, for labor, and I think with that, obviously, people tend to try and do things as efficient as they can, but there's an importance put on safety, making sure that you get as much data as you can without maybe having as much labor as you normally would. And obviously we're seeing a curve in that experience level that we've heard over the years, that we're losing many tenured individuals that just have
tenured like me, getting gray hair.
Shows in the gray hair, absolutely. But that knowledge base is very difficult to replace. So you need to try to implement some of the technologies and systems in place that will allow you to try and transition to a younger workforce, and maybe a leaner workforce where you may not have as much labor as you would.
Okay. You said younger workforce. Do you think the younger generation is more digitally, more technology inclined than maybe some of the aging gray hairs that just are like I laugh and I say, well, I was born analog. Actually, I think I was born Amish, right? I just didn't like technology, and then I had to go to analog. Now I have to do digital. Do you think the younger generation is much more readily adaptable to the new technology?
I don't think you can argue that. I mean,
Okay.
I have a 5 and a 6-year-old at home, and you hand them a tablet or a computer.
Yeah.
And my father, bless his soul, he could hand his phone over to my 5-year-old, and he could probably show him how to use that
Yeah.
phone. It's just it's generational differences in technology, and things have come so far. I think that's just a comfort level, and I think we need to embrace that moving forward, that we do need to simplify some of this stuff, and we do need to embrace the technology that these innovative partners are coming out with to ensure that we are as efficient as we are in our industrial customer base.
It's interesting. By the way, can I borrow your 5-year-old to work on I need somebody to do something on my iPhone. True story. I have a new granddaughter. She's only a year and a half, but she can take my phone, and she's fascinated, and she's pressing buttons. She's a year and a half old, but she's already drawn to the technology. It's amazing.
You'd think they designed that technology for that age group, because you see them and they're doing stuff that it's like, how did you know how to do that? But
ODSR, operator driven, that's kind of being introduced at this conference. It really is a gentleman named Ron Moore, who is operational excellence. Ron's retired several times. I think he's written 17 books. He really is like a rock star. I was at an SMRP conference. Ron spoke 2 hours before lunch, 2 hours after lunch. He had no PowerPoint slides. There were more people in, and it was the plenary. It was 1,000+ people. He had more people after lunch than he had before lunch, because people said, "You got to listen to this guy."
That's rare.
And he just walked back and forth upstage, and he just said, "I'm just a country boy," because he is. He's from Tennessee, but Ron has really been pushing the idea of operator-driven reliability by design, little m, big R, SMRP. Not the organization didn't like that, but Martin and I have been pushing that. Martin's kind of married the concept of safety and reliability, which Ron's got statistics on. Reliable plants are safer. That's an interesting thing, but it's not necessarily safe plants are reliable. So there's that connection. You heard it, maybe not for the first time, but you've heard Martin speak about it. Talk to me about the concept of ODSR as it relates to your customers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't have one without the other when you talk about safety and reliability. Nowadays, safety is as important, if not more important, than just about anything else.
Right.
And that has changed over the years. I can tell you, my father used to tell me stories about, when salesmen or people that would walk into facilities were wearing shirt and tie.
Yeah.
And they'd have nice shoes and khakis, and then they're putting their heads in 4160 panels, energized with the doors wide open, because it wasn't a concern as much back then, and for good reason. We've changed.
Yeah.
You can do things a lot less expensive, a lot less, probably more efficiently if you cut corners, safety-wise. But that's not the way of the world. It's our labor force is extremely crucial to what we do day to day. So taking care of your employees, your staff, is more important than just about anything you're going to do, if not the most important thing you're going to do. So with that, there are things that you need to embrace in order to make sure that your facility is not only reliable, but your labor force remains reliable, and you're running that individual facility as efficiently as you possibly can while still being safe.
It's funny, you started with cost being a big issue, and the truth is it never really is. They think it is, right? Because we got purchasing people saying, get the cost down. The truth is, the C-level is not as much concerned about cost as they are efficiency, productivity, safety, all of those kinds of things.
Uptime and downtime, and it really just depends on who you're asking.
That's exactly right.
Like you said.
And you got to change their minds when they're wrong.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Obviously, respectfully, but you have to do yourself, a favor by making sure that you don't put yourself in a bad spot by disagreeing, without trying to steer them in the correct direction.
Without being disagreeable.
Exactly.
That's what you disagree.
Politically correct is used too often, but I would say that would be the term I would use.
But I think most of your customers, most of the people I see, would also agree with us. They say, I mean, I got to look at cost, because that seems to be the pressure right now. But I can tell you, Everything else is taken for granted. Safety? Yeah, I wouldn't say that's an issue because it's taken for granted that I have a safe work. Those are the kinds of things I think we just got to remind people of, and then they'll come back to. Eric, it has been a delight. You've been a great guest. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Alan.